So I've been avoiding sitting down in front of the camera for a while, and I don't like admitting that, but I think a lot of it is because my mental health is still in a really precarious place at the moment. Maybe that's not the right word. It feels a little bit wonky. And a lot of it has to do with some stuff with my physical health that's going on right now, and some other personal things, and just a lot of my past trauma is being triggered and resurfacing, and it's just incredibly overwhelming to deal with that on top of the consistent daily pain and other symptoms that I'm dealing with. And it's just been a lot, and my mental health hasn't been doing super great the last couple weeks, and I've started, I hate admitting this, because one of my biggest fears that absolutely terrifies me is getting back to a mental place that I was in back in 2018 when I was suicidal and I wanted to kill myself. That was such a difficult and terrifying thing to go through that it scares me, the idea that my brain could get to that place again. When my depression symptoms start to resurface, one of the first symptoms is that I just feel like, I don't know how else to describe this, but I just start to feel like I want to hide from everything. And that one's difficult to acknowledge, partially because my physical health makes me feel like that sometimes, and sometimes I do have to hide in my bed for days because I can't physically do anything else. But yeah, I start to feel like it's better to just hide from things instead of deal with them. I've been starting to get a lot of negative thoughts running through my head, and nothing really serious, but just like little things that start to add up, like, oh well, it's not worth it to brush my teeth today because I'm not going anywhere, or it doesn't really matter if I do this thing that's going to make me feel better, or it's not worth it to plan something because it's just going to fail. It's like little things like that start to add up and start to just keep repeating in my head, and yeah, that leads to a lot more negative thoughts, and I know where that leads, and so that's been kind of scary. I don't think I'm at that place yet, which is something I talked to my therapist about. She's like, but the good thing that's happening though is that you're catching it ahead of time, and yeah, let's get you some more help before it gets to that point, which I really appreciated. So long story short, my current therapist, who works with the endometriosis clinic that I go to, can't see me very frequently because her caseload is too much. She really usually only has the time and resources to work with people, on a shorter term basis, whereas I needed a little bit of long-term care, is what we decided, and what I know is good for me based on my past experience. So I'm looking for other therapists, specifically ones that deal with people with chronic illness, because obviously that's a big part of my life. I'm also trying to just be patient with myself. Part of what I think has triggered this is it's been about maybe 5-6 months that I've had consistently every month about 3 weeks of agonizing pain and or brain fog and fatigue and exhaustion, basically like 3 weeks out of the month. Kind of useless for anything more than feeding myself, and even some days that's hard. So yeah, I really only have 1 week a month where I feel like I can be productive and do things, and even during that week I feel awful. Like, it's not like it goes away, it's just I can push through it better that week. And so I think just having almost half a year of consistently that little amount of time where I feel like I can do the things that make me feel like a productive human being, yeah, it's just really starting to wear on my mental health, I think, and that's really sort of what's pushed me over the edge. And then also, I recently, in the last 4 months, I've seen at least that many specialists, if not more. Let me count. yeah, I've seen 6 different doctors, I think, in the last 4 months, and that itself is just really exhausting. You have to just continuously repeat your story and continuously talk about things that make you really upset, because my health is very triggering for my mental health. It's one of the strongest triggers, I would say, for my depression and anxiety especially. So that's all just been too much going on, and yeah, I've been afraid. I don't know. Another one of my biggest insecurities that has come up is feeling like I'm too much for people and like I'm a burden what I'm going through. I know it's someplace in my head that that's not true, but that is the way I feel when I get to this place of being so overwhelmed by everything going on in my life, because I feel like it's all I can talk about, and it's exhausting for me. I can't imagine how exhausting it must be for other people who don't really understand or who aren't going through it. So I think part of the negative depression thoughts are thinking nobody really cares that much, or it doesn't really matter, it's not really going to help if I share how I'm feeling because it's just the same thing every day, and that's depressing, for lack of a better word. But I do know that sometimes you have to just try those things anyways, and thankfully around that time a friend sent me a really nice gift, and another friend hung out with me for a couple hours, and it's just these tiny little things that sort of, that trigger that I was talking about earlier, that just like brings me back out of that space. And so I thought I would sit down in my pajamas with very little effort put into filming. Yeah, because I think it's important. What I want to try and do with this platform is to show the reality of my life with disabilities, and part of that reality is that sometimes I don't really feel like I'm enough. I don't really feel like anybody would care to hear about these parts sometimes, and I need to get over that. I know that I do. Hopefully I can just keep doing things in the next couple weeks that help boost my mental health. I'm going to try and film some more since I'm coming up on my good week. So we'll see how that turns out. Obviously my schedule is a bit wonky when it comes to filming, because I don't know when my mental health is going to have a hiccup. I don't know when my physical health is going to go bad. So thanks for bearing with me, and filming this video in my pajamas was the nice thing I did for myself today. So show yourself some love.